It wasn't hard for me to imagine the rage.
The soul is mine.
See, if it's this close in me right here, I'm only a human being. It's that close in everybody. Everybody can from this second forward.
Frightening to think our inner demons can surface so easily. But while Mercedes McCambridge makes it sound simple, becoming the voice and embodiment of evil would require her to suffer through her own torment to achieve a sound that was pure hell on earth. Hey friends, I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Welcome to Nostalgic. The Exorcist, it is arguably, and you'll get no argument from this guy, the scariest movie ever made.
The one hope. The only hope. The Exorcist.
While it was released in 1973, on the day after Christmas, I consider it one of my go-to childhood horror movies, right up there with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. I watched it for the first time in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there. I know for a fact I wasn't even a teenager yet. Seeing it is a core memory of my childhood, for better or worse. And truly, I love how this movie scares the ever-living shit out of me every time I watch it.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
And for one reason in particular, that chilling voice.
You killed your mother.
Your servant.
You left her alone to die.
In this video, we're going to look back at the woman behind the most terrifying performance in cinematic history, and the mentally, emotionally, and physically painful method acting techniques that she utilized to bring the demon Pazuzu to life. Tighten those straps, it is going to be a bumpy ride. Time warp, take us back to 1972.
How long are you planning to stay in Regan?
Until she rots and lies stinking in the earth.
The Academy Award-winning screenplay, Oscar-nominated cast, set, pea soup vomit, and brilliant makeup by legendary artist Dick Smith have brought William Peter Blatty's best-selling book to life. But one major component remains: the voice of the demon. What will it sound like, and how will they achieve it? This is crucial and could make or break the film. It's got to be believable and terrifying. Remember though, it's the early 1970s. There were no other demonic spirit voices in cinema to fall back on. None that I could find anyway. The book simply described the voice as guttural, coarse, and powerful, and thick with menace, leaving it very open to interpretation. Linda Blair did the original dialogue, but a 13-year-old's meanest voice was not gonna cut it.
I'm Damien Karras.
And I'm the devil!
Director William Friedkin first turned to a friend, voiceover and recording artist Ken Nordine.
Moping, melancholy, mad.
He would experiment on his own and tried mixing his voice with Linda's, distorting it through a computer. E for effort, but it just wasn't working. Friedkin said it sounded like a man's voice dubbed onto the face of a child. He said, I just couldn't figure out how to fix it. I knew I wanted a voice that was neutral, neither male nor female, but with both male and female characteristics. So Friedkin, quote, threw himself on the mercy of the movie god, and the name Mercedes McCambridge came into his head.
I had the frightening feeling that I was falling, that the plane was out of control. And then I must have fainted.
She was dubbed the world's greatest living radio actress by Orson Welles and won an Oscar for her role in All the King's Men.
Awful lot of smoke. Awful lot of whiskey.
A veteran of radio, film, and television, she would now face her most daunting role ever.
Oh, it burns. Oh, it burns.
In 72, she was a rehabbed alcoholic, had 30 years of smoking under her belt, and suffered from chronic bronchitis. She would draw on all of this, though, to unleash Pazuzu's devilish rage, as well as its, at times, calm, calculating demeanor.
Your mother's in here with us, Karras. Would you like to leave a message? I see that she gets it.
To find her inner demon, she would indulge in her old vices, jumping off the wagon to drown herself in Jack Daniels to, quote, make her nuts, according to Friedkin. She chain-smoked and swallowed raw eggs.
You utilize everything. Don't analyze, utilize. And I utilized the thickness, all of that stuff, for the voice of Lucifer. I don't have a name now. This is clear. But when it wasn't, I could use all of that garbage down there.
the most curious things would happen in her throat. Double and triple sounds would emerge at once. Wheezing sounds, very much akin to what you could imagine a person inhabited by various demons would sound like.
Who are you?
Sympathy.
Those wheezing sounds were actually a result of McCambridge's bronchitis. Now, if drinking and smoking and swallowing raw eggs wasn't enough, McCambridge took it another step further, requesting she be bound to a chair tightly while delivering her lines to mimic the pain and torment that Linda Blair experienced while bound to the bed. Her screams were inspired by the screams she heard from other detoxing alcoholics during rehab. "I cried out from my remembered hell," she told the New York Times. A devout Catholic, she required some of her priest friends accompany her during recording sessions. Brought to tears by the vile, blaspheming lines that she delivered, McCambridge would take long, tearful breaks while being consoled by them. Only adding to her emotionally exhausting workload, McCambridge would often be required to voice numerous variations of Regan's lines, which were then dubbed on top of each other for effect. Sound editors also mixed in laughs, cries, and animal noises to further enhance this devilish dialogue.
Basically, she performed it under great duress, and I was like stunned at what she put herself and allowed me to put her through in order to accomplish this.
Ultimately, a character's voice in film is a multifaceted instrument that transcends mere speech. It's a conduit that, when used effectively, invites the audience to delve deep into the character's essence, forging a connection that goes beyond what's visible on the surface. McCambridge didn't just voice Pazuzu, she gave life to it and made us believe it was real, shocking moviegoers like no other piece of cinema had ever done before.
I constructed and choreographed and scored, if you will, a whole character for the demon, for the devil, for Lucifer, the fallen prince of heaven. It was very important to me to see if I couldn't get a great many dimensions into it. And something must have worked, right? Because people kept passing out and throwing out and going to their doctors and seeing visions at night.
In the end, Friedkin says McCambridge's performance was possibly the single element which really made the film pure inspiration. It should be noted Ron Faber, who played Chuck, added some of the deeper guttural sounds which were also mixed in. In a 2016 interview, Faber told ComingSoon.net that Friedkin was determined to make sure that the devil did not sound like just one person. He wanted it to sound like a legion of voices. Faber also said he didn't get any credit for his voiceover work, although his name clearly appears. McCambridge, on the other hand, her name was added to the credits after the movie was released in 1974. A little drama. Yeah, Friedkin claimed that she turned down credit for her efforts, wanting Linda Blair to receive all the praise. But it's been well documented that McCambridge left the premiere in tears after not seeing her name on screen. Warner Brothers would eventually give her the recognition she deserved. So I hope this all gives you a better perspective and appreciation of what it took to bring that voice to life. I know this movie gets overshadowed with the fact that it's scary and some would say vile and disturbing, but there were a lot of people behind it who had to make an effort and in some cases go to great lengths to bring this story to life on screen. So I want to know, how old were you when you first saw it? Were you as young as I was? And what is the scariest part of this movie? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to help our efforts to grow and expand and bring more 80s and 90s content to the masses, do me a favor. Projectile vomit that like button and subscribe. Sleep tight. I'll see you next time.
I used to be scared of ghost stories when I was growing up, but most of it was phony. I wasn't really afraid. But I enjoyed the drama of being afraid, and I think a lot of people reacted that way to The Exorcist, too. I really do. Oh, my God, it was so terrible. No, it wasn't. Finish your popcorn.